Hello Flosstube friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, also known as Cross Stitch Bunny here on YouTube and over on Instagram. It is the 1st of February today. I cannot believe how fast January seems to have flown by. My last Flosstube, episode 28, was filmed 14 days ago exactly, I think, because that was on the 18th. And I have quite a lot to show you since then, although I have no new starts and no new finishes since that video, but I have worked on 6 whips. I've made some great progress on those, and I've made some good progress towards my goals, the goals that I set myself. So just looking down here, you can see I'm filming in a different spot today, and one of my furries has just come to say hello, so I may as well introduce you. This is my baby bear. Hello, baby bear. He said, hello, Flosstube. Hello. This is my beautiful poodle boy, baby bear. He's about 10 months old now, and he's gorgeous. So yeah, if you hear any strange noises muffling around, it will just be him. Yes, now he's going to jump up and wants to see what I'm doing. You silly sausage. Right, I'll carry on. Like I said, if you hear any strange panting noises, it's baby bear, it's not me. Right, we'll start with the stitching. I'm going to launch straight into the stitching, but I do just want to say, because I forgot in my last video, obviously I had a very rough start to January with being in and out of hospital, which I did mention in my last video, and I forgot to say a huge big thank you to every single one of you that messaged me and checked in on me, because I had posted out like an Instagram story of me stitching in hospital, and the number of messages I got from so many people was really lovely. Like, everyone in this community is just so caring and so kind, and I did really appreciate that because it was a stressful couple of weeks. So yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you that did check in on me. I really appreciated it. I had so many messages that I couldn't reply to every single one, but I read them all, and you know, everyone that like sent me anything, like, I've read your messages, and I think I tried to like heart everyone so that you know that I've read them, but yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Right, so we'll start with the stitching. As you know, if you have watched my previous videos, I am doing letters of the month this year. Baby bear. So my letters of the month for January, the first letter of the month for me for January was the letter D, and I was using my December blue topaz fairy for D. So this is my December blue topaz fairy. I am stitching her on 32 count beautiful sparkly opalescent in this blue, this dark blue. It's just gorgeous. I love it. It is a mystery fabric from my stash. Picked it up at a retreat, but I lost the tag or the label for it, so I can't tell you what it is, unfortunately, but I love it. It's beautiful. I'm stitching this in all the called for, so all the DMC, Krynic, water lilies. As I bought this kitted from retreat, from Julie's stash table. So yes, I am loving my progress on this. I will show you where she was last time you've seen her. My letters of the month goal for letter D for December blue topaz fairy was to stitch for 5 hours, and I have. I've stitched for like exactly 5 hours on her. That was my goal, and I have put my 5 hours in on her this month, so that was a big tick for my January letter D. Isn't she beautiful? I will pop up a picture also of what she will look like when she is finished. And I think she's absolutely stunning. I love the colours in her. I love all the beading that I've still got to do, like on the model stitch. All her fancy swirly trails of fairy dust or whatever they are. I just think she's beautiful. So that is my first whip. My next whip that I'm going to show you is also a letters of the month whip, and that is my winter Cometh. Got a grime guard on it, which I'm just going to pop off. There we go. So this is my, oopsie, I've got it the wrong way. Let's try that again. Here it is. This is my winter Cometh piece. So this is by Summer House Stitchworks. I hope I've got that right. I've just drawn a blank. I think that's what they're called. I am stitching this as part of the seasonal sale being hosted by Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher, and my lovely friend, she's called Bookish Pixie Stitches here on YouTube. I'm not going to say her name because she never seems to use her name on Instagram, or on YouTube. But yes, she has her own Flosstube channel, which is Bookish Pixie Stitches. She stitches some really nice projects, and we're doing this together. So we're doing it as part of Lynn's seasonal sale, but we're also doing it together, which is lovely. So as you can see, I have just been working on the border. Again, the goal for this was for 5 hours of stitching, and I have done exactly 5 hours of stitching. So I've achieved my goal for that. This is how it was last time you saw it. So there's been a big change in what I have done, and I'm really looking forward to getting this border joined up this month, and yeah, see some more good progress on this. I'm stitching this on 16 or 32, no 32. I'm stitching this on 32 count stone washed even weave from my own Stitch Bunny shop, and I'm stitching this in Royal Embroidery branded threads, but in the DMC equivalent colour codes because they code them the same. So that is Winter Cometh. I will pop up a picture of the entire series of these patterns because obviously there are 4 of them, and I will be stitching all 4 on this same piece of fabric, which is why there's quite a lot of it rolled up back there, because all 4 of them will be on the same piece. So that is WIP number 2, and that was my letter W for winter. So that is a successful start to my letters of the month, which I've never done before. And that is some puppies playing in their playpen, if you can hear them. They're in the kitchen and everything is open plan, so I'm sure that if I can hear them, you can hear them. They, yeah, they are somewhat noisy. I am going to unclip this. I really don't want to fully take it off the frame. If you just bear with me a moment, I will take it off one end of the frame, and then we can roll her down to have a little look. So this, you see her there? Is she all in? I think she is. Here is my Snow Maiden, and I'm absolutely in love with her. Isn't she beautiful? Oh my God, those puppies. If it's not the dogs, it's the puppies. It seems to have stopped for a minute. We'll continue. So here is my Snow Maiden, and obviously she's a Mirabilia fancy lady, and I have made quite a lot of progress on her this month. I have been really enjoying her. I have not wanted to put her down, so she has been the bulk of my stitching for this month, which I'm hoping you can appreciate when I do a side-by-side comparison, like have a look at that progress. I'm very, very pleased with the progress that I've made on this in January. It was a really appropriate time to be stitching on her as well. We did have some really cold weather in January, and I really have enjoyed working with all these like wintry colours. She has given me a little bit of a headache up here. I'll just put the board down so I can point at things. You see up here, like in her like top of her dress, and it's like a ruffly thing that she's wearing, like a furry thing, but this bit that's all the different shades of purple. You may notice, like if I just pop up the comparison again, you can see that I had a lot of dark purple in that section of the design. Just pop that up for a second so you can see it. And I've had to frog all that out, so all the dark purple here, and I hadn't picked up the wrong colour, it was charted incorrectly, so it had been charted, and the key had told me to stitch in that dark purple, but then I was looking at it and I was like, wow, it's looking very stripy, it's just something's looking a bit strange. And I eventually worked out, like I went and checked again on the key, the corrections list, sorry, so I checked on the Mirabilia corrections list, and yeah, they had in fact said to swap out all the 29, which was the dark DMC, for 310, but it wasn't, in my opinion, very clearly stated on the corrections chart. I will pop up the corrections chart for you on the screen. So basically, in this pattern, there is a small chart that shows you that there's an error in her hair. So in her hair, just up here, there is like a grey line of stitches. It's like literally 9 or 10 stitches in a row that are charted to be a grey line, and I stitched that and it looked very odd, which is what led me to check the corrections, and that was a fairly easy fix. You know, it was 9 stitches to pull out and replace with, I think I had to just replace them with 5 stitches, and the other gaps are left for beads. So that fixed her hair. And I did notice on the corrections list at the time, if you're looking at it on the screen, that these two colours, 29 and 210, are listed as a correction, but it doesn't say anything. It doesn't give any instructions. It literally lists the two numbers next to their symbols. So I looked at my chart and I was like, right, well, that is the symbol for that colour on my chart, and that is the symbol for that colour on my chart, so I'm fine, I'm good. I thought this must be a correction for, you know, an older print run maybe. Like, I don't know. Tell me if you think this is obvious, but I thought that that was not obvious. Like, the way that I interpreted that correction is that I cross-referenced those numbers on my chart to check what symbol I had for them, and because the symbols matched what was shown on the correction list, I thought I was all good to just stitch. Then when I actually started to stitch and was looking at the colours that were very dark purple up here and looking at how they didn't match the model stitch at all, that's when it then dawned on me, along with help from asking a couple of people, a couple of ladies that I've met at the retreats that stitch quite a lot of mirrors. They were like, yes, it's a swap. So you swap the 29 that's at the top for the 210 that's listed underneath. But I mean, call me stupid, that did not jump out at me from reading that correction list, which is why I had a bit of a frogging nightmare with her, but never mind. It's all fixed now and I've made good progress. I'll give you one last look at her because I'm just so in love with her. I'm so happy with her. To put in perspective how much stitching I have stitched on this month, like, she is not small and I've still got so much of that skirt left to do. Like, she is giant. But just to put into perspective the amount of work that has gone into this month, I have done 75 hours of stitching in the month of January in total. So that's not since my last video, that is the whole month. And 47 of those hours have been on Fancy Ladies. So I did 5 hours on my December Blue Topaz Fairy to fulfill my Letters of the Month goal. I did just under 3 hours on my Tala Deity of the Stars that I showed you at the beginning of the month. I've not worked on her since. And then I did a huge 39 hours, just over 39 hours on this piece. And there is still so much of her left to stitch. I don't think I am halfway through yet. I have obviously got the majority of the top done, like down to about here. All the stitching is complete other than a few tiny little wispy bits like these long strands. I've got a couple of those at the top. But apart from that, everything kind of from the waist up is now stitched and just awaiting beading. So all those gaps in her hair and around her neck, that is all just waiting for beads. Like, all the gaps in this kind of shrug that she's got on, the little gaps inside the grey, is all just going to be beads. And I keep really wanting to start the beading on her, because when I very first started her, I did a tiny bit of the seed beads, where here. Yeah, I did a tiny bit of the seed beading here and then realised I probably shouldn't because she was going to take a long time. I was going to have to roll her over on the scroll, and I was very conscious that I didn't want to damage her. And I know that I could put felt in and still roll her up, but I have decided, and I have had to do that just to protect that little row of beads that I have done. But I just thought it would be better to just stitch her first and bead her after. But it is tempting, like every time I pick her up, I'm like, shall I do the beading at the top? But so far I have resisted the temptation. But yes, that is my Snow Maiden. This is how she will look when she's fully finished. I'll pop up a picture of her in all her glory. I am stitching her on 32 count like ombre snow flurry Ada from my own Stitch Bunny shop. My friend Sarah, Cross Stitch Mad Sarah, is stitching her on exactly the same fabric, so we're going to have identical pieces when we're finished. And yeah, I'm just absolutely loving her. I'm doing her in CXC, CXC equivalents for the DMC, and I'm very happy with how they're looking on her. And then I have all the correct Krynic and water lilies for her. I'm loving working with the water lilies on this. They're all kind of concentrated mostly in this skirt where all the dots are. Loving her. Love, love, love this piece so very much. Just beautiful. Like, she's bringing me like a lot of enjoyment to stitch on her. So I think I'm doing pretty well with my Fancy Ladies goal, because my January theme was to stitch on Fancy Ladies. If you've watched my previous videos, I decided I'm not doing Whip Go this year. I was going to do Letters of the Month and I was going to do themes. So every month I've picked a theme for myself, and that's just, there's no goal related to that theme. Like, there's no set hours, set stitches, set projects. It's just a case of pick up something that follows that theme and stitch on it. And I think it's worked well for me in January because I've got so much fancy lady stitching done. Like I said, 75 hours of stitching in total, and almost 40 of those hours have been on fancy ladies. So well over half has been dedicated to my fancy lady projects. Yeah, so I hope that I do as well in February, but we will see. So the next whip I'm going to show you is my Sealed with a Kiss. You saw this earlier in January. This was my January new start. And it's looking quite nice. Hope that you agree. I will pop up a picture of my progress since last time you saw this piece. So I hope you can see that there has been some changes to it. This is a lovely, nice, easy stitch. This is Sealed with a Kiss by Karen Carter for Heritage Crafts. So it's a Heritage Crafts kit. It's on 14 count Ada, and it's a very nice, easy, simple one to pick up when I'm not wanting anything that's going to tax my concentration. Beautiful, and I'll show you what it looks like when it is finished. It's a lovely, fun design, and it's the only thing remotely Valentine's-ish that I have as a whip at the moment. Like, you know, it's not overtly love themed, but they are cute, aren't they? These two seals that are very much enamored with each other. So yes, I'm probably going to work on this more in February. I'm not sure that I'm going to have any Feb new starts for any other like overtly Valentine's-y pieces. I might, you never know. I never know if I'm going to have a new start. But I'm definitely going to work on this, whether I start anything else Valentine's themed or not. That one will definitely get some attention. What's next? So next is my Modern Folk embroidery, the fluff magnet that I'm stitching on black. Oh, that's my phone. I am just going to check that quickly because Adam is in the hospital today. That's fine. It's not about him, so that's fine. So this is my Modern Folk embroidery. So this is the Reaching Skyward 2023 Sal, and I will pop up a picture of where my progress was last time you saw this, and then I will zoom in so that you can see a bit closer up where I am now. And I am loving working on this. I am stitching this on 18 count black Ada in Threadworks Teal We Meet Again and Smoking Gun, which is the variegated grey. Loving my colour choices, extremely happy with them. I will say that the grey looks very grey when you're just looking at it like in the bundle, but then when I put it on this black fabric, the grey actually looks very, very bright, like almost white, but you can still see the variegation in it. And it is a grey, but the black fabric does just make it seem more white than it is, if that makes sense. But I'm very happy with the contrast of the colours against the black. Oh, I may as well show you there as well. I have a new needle minder on here. This is like a bird in a cage needle minder. I love it. It's so cute. These will actually go up on my shop very soon. This is the first one of these that I made, which I kept. And yes, that they're not on my shop yet, but they will be, and they're such a cute one. I love it. So that is my Modern Folk embroidery. I will pop up a picture of what the full design will look in all its glory when it is finished, and it is a beautiful design. It is the first Modern Folk embroidery pattern that I've ever stitched. A big thank you again to Sarah, Cross Stitch Man Sarah, because she got me that for my Christmas present. Oopsie, I put that there, and I was very excited to have it. Yes, so that is that, and then I've got one more project to show you. This is my 6th project for today, and this is my progress on the Steady Thread Sal. So this is the Steady Thread Botanical Blackwork Sal, and as you can see, I have made some nice progress with filling in my boxes. These are all the boxes that have been released so far, I believe, so I am indeed up to date. And I'm freestyling the colours, as I previously mentioned. Yeah, just picking out my own colours. I'm trying to stick to using threads from this random little box of threads that I got in someone else's D-stash, because there's a nice selection of greens in there and other colours. And then the outlines I'm doing in an anchor that's like a brownish grey. And this has given me some trouble in January with frogging with the hexagons. I just kept putting them in the wrong place. I don't know why. you know, the pattern was there in front of me and I just kept putting them in the wrong place. But I got there in the end and I'm very pleased with how this is looking. I will show you, because I'm actually near my Stitchy stash for a change, I will show you the threads. I don't usually film in here, but I'm quite liking it. Maybe I will do this again because I've got usually I drag all my stuff into the sunroom because I always think that's the room with the best lighting for doing a video. But I'm actually loving sitting here, not having to drag my stuff to another room, having everything at hand. I don't think the lighting is quite as good, but please let me know, like give me some feedback. Comment and tell me if you're enjoying, like if you can see my stitching just as much as usual, and if so, then this might be my new spot because it's really nice. Anyway, I digress. So this is the little collection of threads that I got in a lady's D-stash. She was giving up the hobby and she gave it to me in this. It's like a cute little thing from Asda, it says on the bottom. It's just like a pink little basket. And she's got all these threads rammed in here. Ooh. Oh my God, can you believe I just did that? I've just dropped them everywhere. Oh no. Oh dear. Right, let me grab a couple of them to show you. Baby bear, don't eat them. I cannot believe that, how unfortunate. Anyway, I was saying they're all just on these cards and they have some information on them. Is it going to focus? I don't know if it's going to focus, yeah. So they have this information on them saying where they're from with like a telephone number on and everything, from Cross Stitch Workshop. Oh, not in shot there. Can you see that? They're like from Cross Stitch Workshop and they've all got a name on for the colour at the top and a code. But I've not bothered actually checking these codes to see if they're DMC codes. But I think they might be, or they might be DMC or anchor codes. I haven't bothered to check. But these cards look pretty old and a lot of the cards have like some, you know, little marks on them and they just look a bit aged, but the threads seem fine. They're nice to work with. Yeah, so drop them all over the floor trying to show you, but those are the threads that I am trying to work with. I am just going to really quickly put them all back in the box because I don't want Baby Bear to eat any, so I'll be back in just a second. I'm back and I've fixed my thread disaster, so I'll just show you again and try and be more careful this time. These are the threads that I'm using for this project. Like I said, I'm not sure what brand they are. I have a feeling that they are either Anchor or DMC because some of the, I don't know, some of the code numbers on them just look familiar. That I think they are. I'm going to check that after this video because it's going to bother me. But they're just all wound onto these other cards. And they just look pretty old, like the cards. But yes, I thought it would be good to use them up. So I'm using them up on this. I obviously cannot show you what this will look like finished because it's a sale and the pieces are only being released week by week, like the fills. But I can't remember whether I just said that I would show you a comparison of last time, so just in case I didn't, here is a comparison of where I was last time, and I know it's rolled over a bit, but there's nothing exciting down there, just hexagons. So all the progress has been here at the top. So that is my steady thread sale. Oh, I should have brought a drink with me. So that is all my projects. Oh, and I'm stitching that one, sorry, I'm stitching that on 16 count Ada. In old parchment, and I'm really glad that I'm doing it on Ada because I did toy with the idea of doing this on an even weave or a linen, and I think with the amount of trouble I've been having with following my holes and my pattern just on the Ada, because I'm not that experienced with Blackwork, I'm glad that I went for the Ada option with fewer holes so that there's less chances of me making a mistake because I'm still making plenty despite that. Yeah, so that is all my stitching to show you, but I do have a few other things to sum up and talk about. So just going back to my letters of the month, I am having the same two projects to work on for February's letters of the month because you are allowed to repeat projects for different letters. So I'm this month working on my Blue Topaz Fairy, my December Blue Topaz Fairy, but this month I'm working on her for letter B. So last month she was letter D, this month she's letter B for December and blue. And my winter Cometh piece, last month I worked on that for the letter W, and this month I'm working on that for the letter C. My goal is the same again for both, another 5 hours. And my, yeah, it's not a big goal, so I think that I will hit that again. So yeah, 5 hours for each project. Then all the sales that I've got on the go at the moment, because I've inadvertently ended up in quite a few. So I've touched on all my sales this month other than one. So I've worked on my Steady Thread sale, I've worked on my Modern Folk embroidery, which is a sale. I've worked on my seasonal sal for Lynn the Lancashire Stitches Stitch Along, which is my winter Cometh piece. And I've also worked on my Teresa Made Me Do It sal, although you've not seen her today. I did work on that by having that as a new start on my Tala at the beginning of the month. So the only sal that I've not touched on this month is my Casuarina Dragon sal that myself and Rogue Mama Stitcher are hosting. Sarah, Cross Stitch Mad Sarah, has finished her dragon this month. If you're not following her on Instagram, she's not on Flosstube, but she is quite active on Instagram with her stitching. If you are not following her, do go and have a look. Like, she has finished her dragon and it is beautiful. She should be very proud of it. I'm very proud of her for doing it because backstitch is not her favourite thing, and it is quite a backstitch heavy pattern, and there's a lot of blends again, which she wasn't enjoying too much, but she persevered and the end result is stunning. So do go and have a look at her pearl dragon. It's gorgeous. But seeing her finish that has made me want to pick up my dragon again. So I think that in February I will try and put a few stitches into my dragon and touch on that sal. I will also be trying to pick up all my other sals. Other than the Teresa Made Me Do It sal, Tala is shelved for now, as I explained previously, until I get a big enough frame to work on her properly. She is, she's in a timeout through no fault of her own. So February, moving forward, my February theme for my self-imposed themes is Stitched with Love. And what that means for me is anything that is being stitched with a recipient in mind. So it's not necessarily like Valentine's themed things. It's something I'm stitching for someone else, so stitched with love. And I am thinking off the top of my head that the projects I'd like to touch on for that will be the alphabet whips that I already have on the go for both children. I don't know whether I'll touch one and try and make a lot of progress on one, or whether I'll do a bit on both. Not decided that yet, but I do want to work on at least one or maybe both of those alphabets. And I also have my Jurassic Park piece that I started recently for Hadley. So yes, I think my Stitch with Love pieces this month will be a case of picking up and working on the projects I already have on the go that are specifically intended for my children. That is my plan. Will I start something else as a gift? Again, who knows? I've been a bit random with new starts recently. I've not been planning them. I've just been picking things up on random days and being like, yes, I feel like starting you. I've not counted my whips before doing this video. I'm not sure what number I'm on at the moment, but my limit is 30 and I'm fairly sure I've not hit 30. I think I'm on maybe like 27. Yeah, so that is my February plan, is just touch on all my sales, do my letters of the month 5 hours each again, and stitch some things for my children. So next, I think we will move on to looking at a bit of haul. Now this is my pink haul box up here that I'm always talking about. And I do have a few things to show you today. So I don't think I've dumped things in this box that you've already seen, but how full it is making me question that. So if this is repeating myself, I'm very sorry. Yeah, I just have this weird feeling I've shown these two charts to you before, so if I have, I'm sorry, you'll see them again. These are two, I think I have. These are two charts that I actually bought last year. I got them in the sale that the Historical Sampler Company were doing. They're chart only. They were ordered in the Black Friday sale. They unfortunately went missing in the post, and I waited for a very long time before asking them to redispatch at the beginning of January, or like the very end of last year, but they arrived beginning of Jan. I'm sorry if you've already seen those. I've got a feeling that maybe you have, so that my haul here isn't actually too bad considering that you've already seen those. I have treated myself to the Lily of the Woods Mirabilia. I love her. I've had my eye on her for quite some time. So yeah, Lily of the Woods Dreaming Fairy. I just think she is beautiful. And also the Woodland Fairy there with her beautiful wand. And these two will go lovely with the Midsummer Night's Fairy that I've already got. Like, they're all on branches, aren't they? Like, they're all, oh, that's better. They're all like sat on branches, like in the forest. And they're gorgeous. I'm not sure if there's a fourth one that kind of follows the same theme of being sat on a branch. If you know, let me know. I'm trying to think whether Titania is, but no, I don't think she is. But in any case, I do have her as well. But yes, that is two mirrors to add to my collection. All my other mirrors are actually here. I don't know if you can see them. This is like my Mirabilia little shelf here. They're all packed in there along with some bellas and my books. It doesn't it doesn't look like much, but I've actually got quite a lot packed into there. What else do I have? So I have this lovely kit, which was also a present from Sarah for Christmas. But obviously this is a physical kit, because you know that we have this ongoing joke about chickens, because I really love chickens. I used to keep chickens. I like all the chicken patterns and kits, and Sarah really doesn't like chickens. She doesn't see my fascination with them, but she finds it amusing, and she bought me this lovely vegetable kit, like vegetable patch kit. Karen Carter, who obviously I love, but I already have it. And I asked Sarah like if she wanted it back, but obviously she doesn't want it back because she doesn't like chickens and she's not going to stitch this. So Sarah has very kindly said to me that I can do a giveaway for this on my channel, because obviously I don't need to stitch it twice. To be fair, I did offer to stitch it twice and return one piece to her, but she declined. I was very offended. But yes, she doesn't want this on her wall, but I'm sure that one of you would love this as much as me and would love to stitch this and put it on your wall. So I will do a giveaway. I will do a giveaway for this in a future episode, so that is one to watch out for. It's a lovely kit. I had some more threads arrive from Threadworks, not too many, but I loved the Threadworks threads that I had already received. I was really happy with them, and I had ordered one thread in this colour. I've forgotten the name of it because they do have names, but when they arrive to you they don't put the names on them, they only put a number. I don't know if you can, I put this, oopsie, put this on my board, my whiteboard, maybe you'll see it a bit better. Yes, that's much better. It's like a pinkish, greyish, peachish variegated thread. It's lovely. And that is number 1137. I've just realised though, I've got my invoice here. That might actually have the name. 1137, it's called Limestone. That's what it's called. So this is Limestone by Threadworks. And I'd ordered one of these in my last order, just while I was deciding on my threads for Modern Folk Embroidery. And this was not one of the ones that I ended up picking for that project, but I thought that it would look lovely for another start that I am hopefully planning to have this year, which is a long dog piece, and I've forgotten what it's called, but it's the one, I'll pop up a picture. I've forgotten the name, I'll pop up a picture, but it's the one that's got like it's like a Scrabble board, and it's kind of love themed. It would actually be a great one to start this month in February, but I don't know whether I should be starting another relatively large big piece when I've got that Modern Folk Embroidery and all those other whips on the go. We'll see, I might be tempted, but I thought that I would like to use this limestone for that project, so I'm planning on doing that project, maybe also on a darkish background, I'm not sure, but yeah, whatever I'm stitching it on, I've picked this now as like the main colour that I'm going to stitch in. I'm going to do it in 2 colours, that pattern. Yeah, sorry, just thinking aloud here. I'm going to do it in 2 colours, maybe then with some tinier bits in other colours just to accent certain bits, like there's a few love hearts in the pattern, but not many. I might do those in like a bright pink, and then do the majority of it in this lovely limestone, and then pick like a second colour to do some of the lettering in, maybe, or there's like leaves on the trees. I might pick the leaves out and do them in a green. I don't know, but I do know that I want to stitch the bulk of the design in that limestone, and I needed 3 of them because it's a big design. So I'd already got 1, and I quickly got the other 2, hoping that they'd still be from the same batch because I'd ordered them so close together, and the other one is in my stash, but they look very similar, they look fine. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem there with a colour match. What else have I got in my stash box? Oh, I've got this, which I never showed on Flosstube, and I've popped it in there. So Charlie Feathers on Instagram, and she's stitching with Charlie Feathers here on Flosstube. She was selling these like handmade, homemade bookmarks a while ago, and I'm not sure if I mentioned them. I did show them on my Instagram when they arrived. But how lovely is that? Like, this is because I gifted 1 or 2. I think I bought 3 from her, I think, and I gifted 2. Or did I buy 2? I can't remember. But this is the one that I was keeping for myself, and I just thought they're lovely. So they're just like handmade, lovely bookmarks, then with these little tassels on them to finish them off. I just thought that was beautiful. And she sent me a lovely cute little card as well. Yeah, really thoughtful, really nice. that was just like a random sale that she did on her Instagram stories, but I'm sure if you want one, she might have some left, even though they're not currently on her stories. That is everything I've got to show you. The only other thing I have in my stash box, or I can show you actually, but it's just it's a bit awkward. This was an eBay purchase ages ago, and because it's just awkward and crinkly to open, I've never shown it to you, so it's just languished in the box. Oh yeah, it's going to be so noisy. I'm just going to have to do it, aren't I? This is a cotton and twine. I'm not going to pull out the whole thing. This is basically the cotton and twine box. So that's a subscription box, but I bought this November 2020. So this is the chart. So November 2020 box, subscription box, but I just bought it as a standalone box from someone selling it on eBay. And the boxes come with other goodies in, but in the package that I got, I literally got the chart. I'm not going to pull out stuff, but I got like the thread, the fabric, everything to stitch the design, but whatever other goodies were in the box are gone. But yes, that is a lovely Christmas pattern. I'm looking forward to doing that at some point. I literally bought this probably like 8 months ago. God, I'm sorry, I'm making too much noise. I literally bought that like 8 months ago, and because it's so fiddly to get it out of the package, just not got around to showing you. So that is all my haul to show you. And I would like to just say that, yes, I know I'm supposed to be doing Stitch from Stash. I seem to already be following in last year's trend of doing a really bad job of that. Don't think you're going to be hearing too much from me about Stitch from Stash over the next few months. And I might kind of just do an assessment 6 months into the year and see how I'm doing, and then decide if I'm even still doing it anymore. I've started out, like I started with the best of intentions. I just don't know if I'm cut out for it. Like, I enjoy my Stitchy shopping. A lot of people say that, like, you know, it's 2 different hobbies. I believe that to be true. And I don't know, I almost feel by like imposing Stitch from Stash on myself, I'm doing it with good intentions because I have too much stash and I know I need to get through it. So I'm trying to do it to encourage myself to use what I've got. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie, like, it makes me feel restricted. If I'm telling myself I'm stitching from stash and I therefore shouldn't be buying stuff, it almost makes me want to shop more. Does that make sense? Can anyone relate? So yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to like follow the... I know we're only in February and I'm like basically already giving up. I don't know whether I'm going to continue to like properly track what I'm spending. I might just give up, buy what I buy, enjoy my hobby. Yeah, we'll see. I might assess in 6 months, but I'm just not doing very well and I can't help it. Yes, I'm a very naughty shopper, and it's only going to get worse because I've got 4 retreats booked this year. So anyway, yeah, probably a miserable failure on that front. Anyway, let's move on. To finish up, I would just like to run through some plans that I have for a couple of specific new starts that I'd like to start fairly soon. And like I said, I don't usually plan my new starts, but I have got a couple of things that I'm really, really wanting to stitch. One of those things is the soda stitch pattern that's called Kitty in the Kidney Bean. Although myself and Rogue Mama Stitcher were discussing this because we both have the pattern, and I was like to her, it's the, because I couldn't remember the name at the time and I was trying to describe this pattern to her. I was like, it's a cat. I was like, it's a cute little kitty and it's in like a pea pod. And she was like, yes, I know which one you mean, I have it. And then when we like found the pattern, I was like, oh, it's actually called kidney bean, but I don't know. Both of us thought it looked like a kitty in a pea pod. I don't know if something's been, yeah, like changed in translation, or maybe it is a kidney bean pod. But to me, I look at it and I immediately just think of a kitty in a pea pod. That's what it is to me. I'll put a picture on the screen so I'm not just babbling about nothing. But yeah, I really want to start this pattern quite soon. I'm not sure if Amber and I are going to like formally sell this or anything. I did say to her I would let her know when I've got my threads together and see whether she maybe wants to start it with me. But yes, I really want to stitch this at some point. Like, I have seen Amber stitch so many soda projects. She's done her previous Flosstube that was just dedicated, like I think it was like a couple of episodes just dedicated to her soda stash. And I loved it, and every time I see her pieces, every time I watch her Flosstubes, and she's got one of her soda pictures on the wall behind her, and she's done so many pillows of them. Oh, I just love the soda stitch, but I never seem to get round to starting one. But I have bought and acquired quite a few of their patterns now. I want to start one, and I thought it would be good to just start with a little one because that is quite a small one. So yes, I want to start that fairly soon. And another set that I want to start, which is a set of patterns, is the Country Cottage Needleworks Welcome to the Forest. And Charlie from Charlie Feathers is completely to blame for this, because I watched her Flosstube over the last couple of days. It's quite a long one, which I love. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, I think. It's a really good one to sit down and get some good stitching time while you watch it. But I've been a bit all over the place the last few days, so I've been watching it in segments. But she showed the Welcome to the Forest series of patterns in that Flosstube, which reminded me that I have them. I'll see if I can grab them off the shelf. Here they are. So yes, watching her yesterday show these patterns, I have them also. It reminded me that I have them. So this is the first one, which is like the Welcome to the Forest banner. And then there are 6, I'll just flick through them quickly, 6 other little animal and cute house patterns that go with it. And I just think this is a gorgeous series. I bought these patterns from my friend Liz at the retreat. So that's all the patterns. There's 7 of them in total. Yeah, I bought them from Liz when I was at a retreat with her, at the back end of last year. I hadn't forgotten that I had them, but with as much stash as I've got, it's easy for things to sort of slip your mind, and it was just like my memory was jogged by seeing Charlie excited to start hers, that it made me excited to start mine, to the point where last night I did actually order the threads for it. It does use a selection of overdyes, not too many of them. I think there's like 5 overdye colours, so I've ordered those last night. I messaged Charlie and was like, I've ordered my threads. So again, I don't know if Charlie and I are going to sell this. She might end up starting it before me, because I am trying to limit to 30 whips, and I'm quite close to that number. I really don't want to go over that, because then it'll end up being, oh, only 40, only 50, and I don't want to go there. I don't have the storage for it. Like, my whips, like this is my cross stitch storage behind me. It is it's like a 4-hole unit, and it's 4 tours. So I've got like 16 cupboards in this, and then I have stuff on the top, like my DMC box and things, which are just out of the shot. But my whips are in 2 cubby holes. I've got 2 cubby holes for my whips, and they are pretty full. Oh, Adam's just got home. Just gonna go for a minute, because Adam has just got home from the hospital, and I want to go and say hi to him. I will be back to finish in just a minute. Hi, I'm back. So, yes, that is another one that I want to start, is that Country Cottage Needlework series. I love it. Got my threads on order, just need to select some fabric and at some point start that, maybe with Charlie. She might start before me, I might start before her. We might end up kind of overlapping and stitching at the same time, who knows, but she inspired me to start it, so thank you, Charlie. Bella Filipina. So I am going to a Bella Filipina retreat in May. It is the first retreat that's specifically for Bella Filipina designs, that's being organised by Zarina from Hawkins Hobbies, who also does like the Mirabilia retreats. And obviously I want to have some Bella designs to take to that. I have started my Tala Deity of the Stars, but obviously she is part of my huge trio. And even if Adam has finished making my frame for her to go on by May, I'm not sure that I want to take the frame's going to be like over 1 meter long, because I need the actual working area to be like 1 meter. So the frame's going to be like 110, or maybe even a bit wider than 110 centimeters. That's going to be a big old frame to cart along to a retreat. And even if it would be fine to put it in my car, but I'm just being mindful of the fact I'm going to be sat around a table with other people. It's going to be really unsociable to be taking up that much space around the table. So I thought, no, even if I've got the frame, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take my trio to stitch on at the retreat, but that is the only Bella design that I've got on the go. So I did have a little look through my stash. I've not pulled it out to show you, but the Crystal Mermaid Aqua Bella design, I'll pop a picture on the screen for you to see. She is a beautiful mermaid. I love her. She's got like a very soft, like pastel-y kind of colour palette, whereas I think a lot of the Bella Filipina designs are like quite a strong colour palette. Like she's very beautiful and pastel-y, gorgeous, and I'm really looking forward to starting her. She will also, other than my Petite Mermaid, my Mirabilia Petite Mermaid, she'll be the first big fancy mermaid that I have stitched, and I think she's gorgeous. And I bought everything for her from Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies, as a kit. So I've got, I think I may have already had the chart, but I bought the full materials pack from Zarina. So all the threads, all the DMC, all the treasures and beads, everything that I need to stitch her, I have. I just need to decide on the fabric, but I'm hoping to start her quite soon because I don't want her to be a new start in May. I want to already have her to take with me to the retreat and have already started her. So yes, that is the 3 new starts that I want to start very soon. So before I leave you today, I did just want to do a few shout outs for some fellow Flosstubers. I do sometimes like have every intention of mentioning other people or specific videos I've watched that I've enjoyed, and by the time I've gone through the fluster of showing you everything, and I've usually had at least one camera malfunction, one dog disaster, and I end up forgetting by the time I get to the end of my videos. So I thought today I would write a few things down and make a point of doing that. So these are by no means the only Flosstubers that I watch, and there are loads of other Flosstubers that I absolutely love watching, but that would turn into one very, very long videos spanning several hours if I sat here and tried to reel off in one go the people that I've been watching. So I've just picked out a couple for this week, but I'm going to endeavour to do this a bit more often going forward. So yes, you may or may not have discovered some of these people. The first person that I'd like to mention is Amy Lauren from Nifty Stitch. I would like to say a big congratulations to her for the recent happy news that she announced on Instagram. I'm very excited for her to be expecting a new addition to her family. So yes, big congratulations. And Amy Lauren is a lovely Flosstuber. I've been watching her for quite some time. She has some lovely projects, and she is doing, what's really interesting to me is she's doing no new starts for 2023, and so far, like, we are only into we're only just starting Feb, but so far so good. Like in her January video, she's doing really well, and I do chat to Amy a little bit on Instagram and stuff. We chat not just about stitching, but like generally. She's lovely. I'm sure that you will enjoy going and having a nosy at her stitching. She loves Disney, like she's a massive Disney fan. She does a lot of Disney inspired and based projects. And yes, so she's doing no new starts, which meant that at the back end of last year, she had a lot of new starts to get a few stitches into things so that she could carry them into this year. And yes, I'm watching with interest to see if she manages to make it through the whole year without any new starts. I will be amazed. And I already said to her that if she ends up starting a birth sampler, like, I think that she shouldn't count that. I think she shouldn't count that as breaking her goal, because surely that's like a massive exception. But yeah, she's also doing 100 days of Haid, which I've never heard of before. I've never seen anyone mention that, but I thought that was a really good idea, where she's trying to pick up like one of her Heaven and Earth designs for like 100 days in a row with no gaps, and make sure she puts some stitches into it on those days. I thought like that's a really brilliant idea. I do have one Heaven and Earth design that has had like no love. It might have had like 1,000 stitches, if that, put into the top left corner, and then it's just been abandoned. I'm not going to start doing that anytime soon, but her idea for like the 100 days thing, I don't know, I might halve it and do like 50 days of Haid and see at some point if I can manage that. But yeah, I just think that that was really interesting, and the piece that she's picked to do that on is like a lovely fairy inspired piece. It's beautiful. Like, go and have a look at her channel. She's got some beautiful projects, some beautiful things. The next person I want to mention, I've already talked about a little bit in this video, but that is Charlie from Charlie Feathers. So she is Charlie Feathers on Instagram, and she is Stitches with Charlie Feathers here on YouTube. Charlie's channel is a lovely channel. She has quite a variety of stitching, but her stitching can be quite dominated by Barbara Anna designs. She loves those, and I've never stitched one, but I do enjoy looking at her progress and her finishes. So yes, if you like Barbara Anna designs, definitely go and have a look at Charlie's channel. I'd also like to say a real big thank you to Charlie, that when I was not very well at the beginning of January and a bit in and out of hospital, and I was like a bit anxious over everything, like Charlie was one of the people that made like a huge effort to check in on me, like not just once, but like on an ongoing basis while I was in and out of hospital. And not only that, like Adam is going through some things at the moment with his health, and it just so happens that Charlie's husband has had a similar thing in the past, so she's been like really supportive and reassuring to me when I've been chatting to her about what's going on with Adam. Yes, she's a lovely lady, absolutely lovely lady. She is doing like what's she doing at the moment, because I wrote it down. Oh yes, so she's doing a giveaway at the moment. I wrote that down because I wanted to mention it. So on her Flosstube channel at the moment, she is doing a really lovely giveaway. of a lovely chart that you will definitely want to have a chance of winning if you love cats. I have not entered the giveaway just because although I like cats, like I'm not like a huge cat person, I'm very much a dog person, but the pattern is gorgeous, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think her giveaway is open until the back end of February, but you do need to go and watch her most recent video and get the magic words so that you can enter that. But yes, a lovely, lovely giveaway that Charlie is giving everyone the chance to win on her channel. So definitely go and check her out. Yes, really, really lovely stitching as well. Like I love all her stitching. And there is a fairly recent finish she had at the back end of last year, and that is a pattern called Moonshine Cabin by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I've fallen in love with it, seeing it on Charlie's channel and seeing it on her Instagram. It is absolutely gorgeous. I haven't bought it yet, but I can see that that is a purchase that's definitely going to happen. I just think it's gorgeous. I will pop up a picture on the screen. I'll just screenshot Charlie's Instagram so that you can see her finished piece, because I'm sure that she won't mind me showing off her beautiful work, and it's, you know, it's public, it's there for you to see on her Instagram anyway. But like, how gorgeous is that? It's amazing and beautiful stitching, and I love her fabric choice, and I just love everything about it. It is a wonderful piece, and I want to stitch it myself. So yes, go and have a look at Charlie's lovely stitching. And lastly, just a couple of shorter shout outs, but I have been enjoying the fact that the Danish Stitcher, so Esther, the Danish Stitcher, has returned to Flosstube. I've missed seeing her videos. She's been AWOL for a little while, which she did warn us about on Instagram, that she was taking a little bit of a break for personal reasons, but I'm really glad to see you back, Esther. Esther does like a lot of varied stitching. She does quite a lot of like, not like she calls it herself, I think, like nerd stitching, like she's into her Buffy. I think she partook in a recent like Buffy sal and things like that last year. But yeah, she's got a lot of unique and varied stitching that I don't necessarily see other people stitching, so I do love watching her. Ellie Welly Stitcher, I have been binge watching recently and really enjoying. I think I've been following for quite a long time, but it's one of those like where anyone pops up as a Flosstube that I'm not following, I'll be like, oh, I'll follow them and I'll watch it later, and then I've got such a huge list that sometimes like I lose people in my list. But I had her whip parade pop up a few weeks ago, and then I watched her most recent whip parade and was like, oh my god, it's amazing, she's got so many lovely things. And so now I'm slowly going like back and trying to watch her from the beginning. She's got quite a lot of episodes, but I'm trying to watch her stitching journey from the beginning, and I'm really enjoying that. So yes, enjoying that. And I think lastly, I think I had one more. Oh no, I had two more. So Laura from Tarzia Stitches, she is a lovely Flosstuber. Her videos are a little bit different to the average. She is very conscious of like stitching things that represent her own culture or that represent other cultures accurately, and she gives like quite a lot of information about the things that she's stitching. And yeah, I just find her channel interesting. And she recently released a pattern which I really liked. So I have bought her recent, it was a pattern to like celebrate the Lunar New Year and the fact that it is going to be the year of the rabbit. And I saw the pattern, really liked it. It's a simple pattern. I think it's like 2 colours or maybe 3 with a lot of clever use of negative space. And yes, I'll pop a picture up of the pattern so you can see it, but I really liked it. And you know, I'm Stitch Bunny, it's a bunny pattern, so I did make a donation to her Ko-fi to buy that pattern. So I didn't mention that in haul, but that is something that I have bought this month that I just thought was lovely, and I just need to settle on a nice fabric choice for that. Laura has recommended that like a yellowish fabric is a good one to stitch it on if you want to like represent the pattern properly, like in terms of like all the cultural background of the pattern that she does provide with the pattern. So I will endeavour to try and find something yellow or yellowish to stitch that on. So I'll have to have a rummage in my stash and see what I can find. But yes, it's lovely to see Laura back on YouTube because she has had a little bit of a break, again for personal reasons. She's been moving house, but she's back and I do enjoy watching her videos. And lastly is a brand new Flosstuber. So his name is Johnny Saxon. He is Australian. I'm not sure how I stumbled across his first Flosstube episode, but I'm glad that I did. And yeah, I think so far he's got like 1 dedicated Flosstube, which I've watched from start to finish. I really enjoyed it. He has like a very varied taste in his stitching. So there's some like Nora Corbett's in there, some modern folk embroidery. What else did he have? I think there might have been like a bit of Barbara Anna. he likes like fantasy and like wizardy sort of patterns. So he had like a nice book that he showed that was all like fantasy themed. Yeah, it was a lovely first Flosstube episode. So I hope that he continues making Flosstubes. There were a few other videos on his channel that were like reaction videos, and he's already got like quite a large following, like close to 3,000 followers, I think, and he's done one Flosstube, so I'm not sure whether it was like an existing channel and he's converted it to a Flosstube. But yes, he's done his first Flosstube, and it's mixed in with like some reaction type videos. And yeah, he was a pleasure to watch. So yes, welcome to the world of Flosstube, Johnny. I hope to see a lot more from you. And yeah, that is everyone that I had on my little list. Just to shout out for today, I will try and do some more people in my next episode. And I don't have a huge amount of life update, and I think this video is already quite a long one, so I'll try and keep it brief. The last 2 weeks of Jan have been calmer for us than the first couple. I did have to go back into hospital once, so I've had one more visit into hospital. I've pretty much been sent home from the hospital with the all clear for nothing sinister, but there were still a couple of things they wanted to follow up on regarding the original symptoms that I went to my doctor about, in terms of them maybe suspecting some kind of dietary intolerances. So I had to go in for an endoscopy, which was not pleasant. It was not nice, but you know, it was necessary. So I went and had that done, and nothing else too dramatic or exciting has happened this month. We're just busy looking after all the puppies because we've got quite a lot of puppies in the house. The kids are back in their school routine, although it feels like the half-term holiday that's happening in Feb is already looming. They don't even seem to have been back that long, but I feel like it's going to be the holidays again in no time. The weather here has brightened up a bit. It is still a little bit cold, but those like -10 crazy cold snaps we were having seem to have gone and have just been replaced with like a normal level of January coldness, and a lot of wind where I am. It has been like really windy. I nearly got blown away on the school run this morning. But yeah, nothing too exciting to report, just plodding along with everyday life, trying to tidy, trying to get our house in order. We are still planning to move house this year, and we're kind of stepping up our game a bit with really having a goal in mind for getting the house listed by hopefully March, April. So there is a lot to do in the next couple of months, like a massive declutter. There's going to be multiple runs of going to the skip. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on and a lot of cleaning. So maybe slightly less stitching. But yeah, I'm just going to have to stay up later to get more stitching done, to balance out the extra time that I'm going to be spending on housework. Anyway, big love to you all. If you have enjoyed this video and you don't yet subscribe to me, please think about tapping that little button. Like, comment, subscribe. Those are the things that help my channel to grow and to reach more people. And I do have that nice kit giveaway that will be coming up in the not too distant future. I might do that when I reach like another subscriber milestone. I'll have to check what I'm currently on. I think I might be approaching 2,000 maybe, and not be too far away from that. Where's my phone? I don't even know where my phone is. Ah, my phone's here. Let's have a quick look. I actually don't know. I've not looked for a little while. Let's have a little look. So, how many of you are following my cross-stitching journey? Oh, yeah, so it says I've got 1.82 thousand subscribers, which is just amazing. Thank you to every single one of you. Not too far from 2,000, so I don't know, maybe I will save that chicken kit for that milestone, like if I hit 2,000, so help me reach it, please, so I can do another lovely giveaway for you all. And also, just the more people that pop in to watch me and interact with my channel, like the more people hopefully see my channel, and the bigger that my channel grows, hopefully the more nice giveaways and things I can do, because the little bit of revenue I get from my channel will help with paying for those giveaways and potentially, you know, doing some bigger giveaways in the future. So I'll appreciate all your help with that, and I will see you really, really soon. Middle of February, I will be back with a mid-month update. Take care of yourselves, get some lovely stitching time, and I will see you next episode. Bye everyone. Bye.